This is Dude. He's a shiny Poochyena that I caught on my birthday last month, and as such, he has the Destiny mark. So, he's Dude the Chosen One. But what is he chosen for exactly? Well, in this case, I've chosen him to take on the 7 members of the Kitakami Ogre clan, all on his own. I've heard that these trainers are actually pretty strong, with good team synergy, movesets, and held items, so taking them on with one of the first Pokemon you see after entering the land of Kitakami should provide a good challenge. First, we need to prepare Dude for the battles ahead, which entails raising his level to 100 and giving him 252 EVs in attack and speed to maximize his strengths. There are other things to do too, like hyper training and buying items, so while I'm doing that, I'll quickly go over the rules of the challenge. I'm only allowed to use a single Poochyena, and I can't use items in battle. Changing Poochyena is set in between battles, so changing Terra type, moves, held item, that's all fine. It's still the same Poochyena after all. I'm also going into each battle blind. I won't know which Pokemon or strategies the members will use against me, so trial and error is going to be a recurring theme throughout the run. Also, no, I don't have a capture card, and at several points throughout the video, you'll see my phone propped up against a ceramic pumpkin. It's seasonable though, so I really can't be faulted for the subpar visuals. With that, I approach the man outside Kitakami Hall who tells me to defeat the Ogre clan, and the challenge officially begins. First up is Masamune, and with Grimmsnarl as his lead, things immediately don't look great for Poochyena. Reflect causes Play Rough to take only a third of Grimmsnarl's health, and the Spirit Break it retaliates with is an easy to a KO, even with Eviolite. I immediately resolve to go change Dude's Terra type to Steel, and add Terra Blast to his moveset, which should provide crucial coverage going forward. During the rematch, I attempt to use Yawn to minimize the damage Grimmsnarl does, and Terra Blast is a 3-hit KO after Reflect. Clefable comes out next though, and its Flamethrower does significantly more than Terra Blast, so I'm defeated again. I try using a Choice Band over my Eviolite, and this does the trick. I think what's happening here is that I'm in Oko range without the Eviolite boost, so Grimmsnarl goes right on the offensive without trying to set up Reflect. This allows me to get the Oko with Terra Blast on not just Grimmsnarl, but Masamune's entire team. Yeah, somehow the Fairy-type member ended up being the largest pushover in the Ogre clan. For lots of wandering around aimlessly, I come across Hasebe, the Water-type user. The first battle is short-lived, as Politoed just outspeeds and one-shots me with Surf. After changing my Terra type to Grass and opting for a more defensive set with Yawn, Protect, and Eviolite, my game plan is to stall out the rain while tanking hits and dealing big damage back with Terra Blast. This works really well. I've stalled out 4 turns of rain by the time Politoed faints, and I'm only missing around a third of my health. The same strategy works on Ludicolo, and the rain stops before Hasebe sends out Dreadnought. It's an easy Oko with Terra Blast, but Basculegion finally ends the battle by living on a sliver of health and taking Dude out with Wave Crash. Luckily, even with how shallow Poochyena's moveset is, it still has a way to boost its attack and avoid this. Howl. I also give Poochyena a speed boosting mint, which lets him outspeed Politoed, so a first turn wake up wouldn't be a risk anymore. Going in with Yawn, Howl, Terra Blast, and Protect, I'm able to boost my attack while Politoed is sleeping, and the rest of the battle goes similarly to before. Ludicolo and Dreadnought faint without much trouble, and the Howl boost lets us take out Basculegion and defeat Hasebe. 2 down, 5 to go. You might be wondering why I'm using Poochyena in this challenge anyway, or why I chose it out of all the Pokemon to shiny and mark hunt on my birthday. Well, my favorite Pokemon is Mightyena, but since I already have a shiny one, I settled on its pre-evolution, who I still like quite a bit, and I just thought it would be a fun idea to use it in a challenge like this. It's a special Pokemon to me, and since there isn't much a Poochyena can do in VGC, I wanted to use it for something besides sitting in the shiny box forever. Okay, back to the challenge. Kunitsuna's Rock and Ice-type Pokemon proved to be pretty tough, and I didn't have enough Terra Shards to change my type back to Steel, so I'm going in with Grass again. After lots of failed attempts trying out Yawn, Life Orb, and other strategies, I go in with Eviolite and just start attacking. Carbink hits me with Moonblast, but goes down after 2 super effective Terra Blasts. Frostlass luckily misses Blizzard, but thanks to its Focus Sash, it's able to paralyze me with Thunder Wave afterwards. I get fully paralyzed, but Frostlass misses Blizzard again, and I'm able to take it out with Sucker Punch. Golem is next, and this is where Poochyena's ability Quick Feet comes into play. The speed drop from the paralysis is basically nullified by the ability, allowing me to outspeed an Oko Golem. Mamoswine's first Ice Shard almost takes me out, but thanks to Quick Feet, I can outspeed its second one with Sucker Punch, and narrowly get my third victory over the Ogre clan. Next up is Kotetsu, who uses Fighting-type Pokemon. Heracross Okoing me with Close Combat is an immediate signifier that it's time to change my Terra type again, so after deciding on Fairy and using Play Rough over Terra Blast for the extra damage, I'm able to take out Heracross, Komao, and after a turn, Conkeldurr, but Gallade ends up outspeeding me and taking me out with Psycho Cut. A speed boosting nature still isn't enough to do the trick, so I swap out the Eviolite for a Choice Scarf and go into my next attempt. This time, Heracross and Poochyena trade misses before the former goes down to a single Play Rough, unable to do any damage to me. Komao is just as unthreatening as ever, and Conkeldurr's insistence on using Focus Punch keeps it from being too scary as well. I managed to outspeed and take out Gallade before it can use Psycho Cut, earning Poochyena another win. Having 4 down and 3 to go is a lot better than 3 down and 4 to go, so I'm feeling good going into the battle against Kenomitsu. Ninetales' Will-O-Wisp is a big problem though, and while Dude is able to outspeed it on turn 2 thanks to Quick Feet, it's not enough to save him. Changing his Terra type to Fire is kinda the only option here, since a Pokemon like Poochyena relies on fast KOs to avoid taking too much damage itself. I bring back the Yawn Protect Howl strategy to stall out the Sun, expecting lots of Chlorophyll users on my opponent's team. Ninetales goes down after dealing about half my health in critical flamethrower damage, and I protect just as Shiftry uses Explosion. That's one way to deal with it, I guess. I'll take it! Chandelure isn't a problem thanks to my Dark-type moves, but Lilligant still outspeeds me outside of the Sun. For my next try, I use 2 Howls against Ninetales to guarantee the Sucker Punch Oko against the Dancing Grass-type, and the rest of the battle goes exactly like last time. Shiftry, Chandelure, and Lilligant are all easy to take down, and Kenomitsu joins the other defeated Ogre clan members. A ravine is defined as a deep, narrow gorge with steep sides. What does this have to do with anything? Well, the hints given as to Raikiri's whereabouts say that she's in a ravine beside the water pouring from Oni's maw. I looked for this ravine for hours, only to find her in a small cave next to a waterfall. Was the man intentionally misleading me as to where the electric trainer was hiding? Maybe. Was it a translation error? More likely. But I found Raikiri, and now it's time to battle. Light Screen is useless on Raikiri's end, so I'm able to take down Raichu without much trouble. I do get paralyzed, but as we've established, all I really have to worry about is the 25% chance I'll be unable to move. Vikavolt appearance and use of Zap Cannon to Okomi prompts me to almost change my Terra type to Ground, but I decide against it and try out Fire-type Terra Blast to deal with it instead. After setting up a Howl and getting paralyzed for my troubles, I'm able to take out Vikavolt as expected, and Probopass is up next. It uses Gravity instead of a super effective attack, but full paralysis allows it to follow up with a power jam that does a bit over 50%. This lets Luxray take me out after living a crunch, but if I don't get fully paralyzed, the battle should go in my favor. I don't change my strategy going into the next attempt, and luckily Raichu doesn't get to paralyze me, so I should be home free. Probopass uses Gravity once again, and faints in 2 crunches, and Luxray doesn't try to attack me either, opting for Electric Terrain and allowing me to take it out without any trouble. Munechika, the Normal-type trainer, is the last of the 7 Ogre clan members to fight. He leads with an Ambipom that does massive damage with a Fake Out, and that much free damage just isn't something that can happen if I want to win. After trying and failing strategies with Covert Cloak, I change my Terra type to Ghost. I make it to Greedent on my first try with the new type, but having been hit with Ambipom's Thief, I can't take an Earthquake. Setting up on Ambipom just isn't viable, so for the next try, I just take it out with a combination of Crunch and Sucker Punch, and set up a Howl as Mousehold uses Tidy Up. Sucker Punch gets the OHKO, and I'm back to Greedent. I raise my attack again as Earthquake looks to be only a 4-hit KO, and use a couple of Crunches to take the greeted Pokemon down. Snorlax is bulky, so it could be an issue, but it uses Curse instead of attacking me, so it drops the 2 Crunches as well. With that, I've defeated all 7 Ogre Clan members, but spoilers if you haven't fought them yet, the man tasking us with defeating them is actually Muramasa, the clan's leader and strongest trainer by far. This battle was absolutely brutal. Gengar, like Kanemitsu's Ninetales, has a propensity for using Will-O-Wisp on turn 1, completely shutting down my chances of winning. On my first attempt, I barely scratched past Gengar when Kingambit effortlessly takes me out with Kowtow Cleave. I changed my Terra type to Fire and try over and over, and this ended up being my best attempt. A Terra Blast and a Sucker Punch take out Gengar easily, and Crawdaunt is up next. Play Rough misses out on the OHKO, but Crabhammer doesn't land, and Crawdaunt goes down as well. Kingambit also lives a hit and takes me down to my Focus Sash, but a second Terra Blast is able to deal with it. But now Dusclops comes in, and with Eviolite it easily lives the Sucker Punch and retaliates with a game-ending Shadow Sneak. I try again using Bite instead of Crunch in the hopes of lucking my way to victory, but things go similarly poorly. Gengar and Crawdaunt go down without dealing damage once again, but Kingambit is still able to do massive damage and put me in range of Dusclops' attack. I finally decide to bite the bullet and try using Terra Fighting, even though it requires me to get lucky and dodge Gengar's Will-O-Wisp instead of being immune to it. Since Crabhammer missing and Bite flinching were my only previous win conditions, at this point I am fine with admitting that I need some luck to win. I also try Foul Play instead of Bite or Crunch, thinking that a 95 base power move coming off of Muramasa's attack stats would be slightly better than an 80 base power move coming off of my Poochyena's attack. Even one Will-O-Wisp miss isn't enough luck to give me the win though, as Gengar has a Focus Sash and will usually try burning me again if it whiffs the first attempt. But after countless tries, I get this battle. Gengar misses the first Will-O-Wisp, and as I try to Sucker Punch it, it misses a second one. It doesn't try using it again, so a second Sucker Punch takes it out. Kingambit comes out next, and I Terrasilize. It tanks a Terra Blast thanks to its Chople Berry, but Brick Break only does half in return. I take it out with another Terra Blast, and I use Foul Play to get the OHKO on Trevenant. Terra Blast takes out Crawdaunt, and Dusclops is Muramasa's last. Despite being a run-ender for so many previous tries, on this go, it seems like all it can really do is Pain Split me, so after 3 Foul Plays, I have officially defeated the entire Kitakami Ogre clan with just a Poochyena. This challenge was a ton of fun, and though I've been a fan of challenge run PokeTubers like JRose11 and Enter the Unknown for a while, this is my first attempt at one, and I love how it turned out. Coming up with unique strategies while restricted to a single Pokemon with poor stats and move pool, and still overcoming insurmountable odds, even if a little luck was necessary, is just so rewarding, and I'm glad I was able to do it with one of my favorite Pokemon. Take a good rest, dude. You deserve it. Thanks for watching.